Greetings, Judah, Israel. It's your brother DFG. Hey, brothers and sisters, I want to take a few minutes and share something with you in regards to the whole incident with the Somalian woman. I think she lived in the United States, or lives in Houston to be exact. Don't hold me to that, but I'm thinking that's correct. But it's the same, the woman who was hit in the face with a brick, and of course went viral. And pretty much started making these statements about, black men and what we don't do and how we don't care and how, I guess the long story short, that we're useless, eaters, for lack of a better word. We serve no true purpose for the so-called, black woman. Now, a couple of things I got to get out. First, now I'm hearing, and let me say this, I'm hearing now, and so you are too, but if you're not, I want you to know, that now it's being said that, again, a Somalian woman who got hit in the face with a brick by a Somalian man, but not only that, she professed to be innocent, never did anybody any harm, just kind, sweet. I'm sure you all heard her dissertation on her video. And of course it was a cry out for justice on her part. And lo and behold, now we're finding out that she's not so quiet, she's not so innocent, that quite frankly, she is, an aggressive, LBGT pushing Somalian, which makes her according to their culture, not what your brother is saying, black woman in relationship to, when they say black, they're really talking about African American. But those of us who are awakened now, we realize that, we're the Israelites. So here it is, a woman who doesn't identify with black, but has made these statements about black men, calling them the N-word, by the way, if you listen to her message. These, I'm going to say it one time, these niggers aren't, this and this and that, and why they these other N-words help her, so forth and so on. And again, now it's starting to show that maybe there was some kind of little crook shit going on with her ass. Because now she, all of a sudden she conveniently went over to GoFundMe, which should be NoFundMe in most of these cases. And now her GoFundMe as of yesterday, and that would have been the 7th of September, is sitting over 40K, 40,000 brothers and sisters, and running. Now that may or may not matter to you. I don't know, depending on where you stand. Maybe, this is a woman's thing where all women feel like you need to just be united no matter what the ethnic group is, et cetera, et cetera. And that's all fine and dandy. But I want you to ask yourself another question. Do they all feel that way about you? I'm talking to my sisters, the daughters of Zion. Do they feel that way about you? I understand your camaraderie with women. But my question back to you, when things happen to you, do they come to your cause? Do they come running to your defense? So in all these other ethnic groups, or as that old saying going, they are as quiet as a church mouse pissing on cotton. Now I bring this out, brothers and sisters, because there is an agenda against the black family. A real agenda. And what I mean by the black, I'm talking about the nuclear family. Husband, wife, male, female, with children or not with children. There's an agenda in play to ensure that we do not experience the protection and all of the benefits that go along with that. And statistically speaking, one of my brothers, Brother Sharif, brought it to my attention this morning, and he was showing me some statistics on the census, and they were showing households that were single parent households, single mothers to be exact. And I'm going somewhere here, so stay with me. And it was showing that, they went through Asians, they went through Hispanics, they went through whites, and then they went through so-called blacks, Israelites. Now, when it came down to Asian single mothers, 8%, single parent. When it came down to white, 13.5%. When it came down to Hispanics, not a good number, but 24%. But that simply means, one out of, every 4 Hispanic women, are by themselves or a single parent. But then when it came to us, Israel, it was almost 47%. So in essence, 1 out of 2. And I brought those numbers out because I wanted to make sure everybody understands, if there an issue in relationships that's going on in relationships, yes, and everybody has them. So for all these folk who want to pile on and start attacking, black men and all this foolishness about, well, you see, that's because y'all abandon your children. Well, them niggas doing that shit too. Excuse my language, I'm talking about them other ones, them yellow niggas and Hispanic ones and all the white ones. Because that's a niggerly behavior. I'm talking about when you intentionally neglect your own, for whatever your reason is. Now that needs to be said. So now that's to kill all this stuff. Well, again, singling out us as an ethnic group, and for what all of these so-called, disparities around irresponsibility of the men. And so they use this whole brick incident, where I'm going, to imply that somehow or another we don't care about our women. And brothers and sisters, you in particular, this message, I hope you just give this some consideration, sisters. That was an attack on you ladies. That was to tell and say to the whole world, you're unprotected. Nobody protects you. Nobody cares for you. You know what that makes you? When the whole world feels that way about you, brothers and sisters, that makes you vulnerable. That makes you a target. That makes you easy prey, my dear sisters. And whether you agree or disagree with that incident that happened with her, one thing that you ought to ask yourself the question, how on Yah's flat earth does a Somalian woman get a platform that goes viral attacking so-called black men? Not Somalian men. She's Somalian. Her attacker was Somalian. The men who were standing around was Somalian. But she never said these Somalian niggas aren't shit. Because she knew she used that word black, that everybody would target us. Not her people, our people. Not Somalians, African American men. And unfortunately, my dear sisters, many, many, many of you all, not necessarily you, but many of you all just drank the Kool-Aid, jumped right in there, and you started attacking your men. Now, I'm going to talk to you from a position of an elder, and I'm going to talk to you sisters from a position of knowledge. That's not a good look. For the whole world to think that you're the only woman who bring forth sons on this earth who have no loyalty to you. None whatsoever. And not only that they can now do whatever they want to do to you, because at the end of the day, no one's going to come to protect you. No one. At least that's the lie they want to tell. That's the image they want to project. Because in all actuality, that's not true. That's not true. And just for just for the record, there are many instances where other ethnic group women are attacked and nobody came to help. I was watching a video, brothers and sisters, and this is a fact. Maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, and this was in India, the country of India. And there was this Indian man attacking this Indian woman. And he was not on just hitting her with bricks. He was actually using a weapon, a knife. And he just jabbed and jabbed and jabbed and jabbed and jabbed and jabbed and jabbed. And the Indian men and women were walking right up and down the street, and nobody came to her rescue. Now, India has over 1.5 billion people, give or take. And they all just walked up and down. You look at countries like Saudi Arabia, they still chopping women's heads off for adultery. Homosexuality. But somehow that doesn't go viral. Nobody talks about that. Nobody says anything. But when it came down to attacking your men, my sisters, everybody engaged it. Everybody got all worked up about it. Unfortunately, you too. So either we're going to be wise or we're going to be foolish. And right now, foolish seems to have more of a glow on us as a nation of people. Talking about Israelite brothers and sisters, and in particular, our daughters of Zion. They promote these little heathen women, talking about the 2/3 heathens of Israel. I don't need them, the N-word, I need a bag. They promote these, I want a zaddy, foolishness. In other words, I want the slave master because he's better than my brother, my son, my father. Or the former slave masters, however you want to look at that. Some would say they're still in power, still enslaving our people. Look at the prison industry complex for proof of that particular statement. But this all is a part of an agenda to create a hostile environment for our sisters by encouraging them to be disrespectful, to disregard their sole and only actual true protectors. And there's a whole lot of evidence of our men protecting our women. And our men are very bold about protecting our women. But that's never credited. But when our men, look at all these, let's go with the award ceremonies, all of them, right across the board. If you don't hear anything else from black men when they get an award, you'll hear two things. They're thanking, they will say God, but we know that could mean anything these days. And their mothers. Men, the same ones who's supposed to hate you. The same one who's supposed to not protect you. Let a Somalian heathen tell it. And so, sisters, I'm saying to you that as a daughter of Zion, please understand that your enemy is your brother's enemy. The same ones who enslaved you, enslaved your men. The same one who sold you, sold your men. The same one who hung you, hung your men. The same one who created a culture to deprive you are the same one who did it to your men. And still doing it. And I'm just cautioning you to be very careful of embracing that kind of agenda. Because it leads to self-destruction of the family. And I just gave you stats a little earlier to show you how effective it is. All these other ethnic groups, again, whites, 80% of white men are at home with a woman, wife or whatever. 75% of Hispanic men, Hispanic. You know what I'm saying? What? 92% of the Asians. But right now, almost 50% of you all are alone. See, this strife between you and your men, daughters of Zion, you play a part in that. I'm not taking the heat off the men. We play a part in it too. But sisters, you're playing a part because of the fact that you're allowing them to persuade you of a lie. That somehow your men are the only men that have issues with his woman. And not only do we have issues with our women, that sounds like to them the only ones, but we have no ability to work things out. We have no ability to do any kind of critical thinking to solve problems. We have no problem-solving skills. So in essence, we just run off into the blue and leave you out there to fend for yourselves. And that's just a lie. It's a vicious lie. But when a lie becomes the truth, then it becomes deception. And then it becomes, as Solomon warned us, a way that seems correct. Yeah, they're right. There aren't any good black men. Black men are no good. Black men are this, black men are that. Yet the black man has been right there by your side, sister, from the very beginning, dealing with everything that he has to deal with right alongside of you. And you've been there with him too for the most part. Now see, Bible prophecy, the book, warns our daughters of Zion that a day is going to come. And you go to the book of Jeremiah. I want to say it's chapter 10, but just read from 6 to 10. You'll find it talks a lot about you, dear sisters. Yahuwah talk to Jeremiah and say, warn the daughters of Zion. That's you, so-called African Americans. They're the apple of my eye. I love them. They're precious. They're beautiful. That's what he says about you. But warn them of the deception that comes when they become idolaters, when they start to love themselves more than they love their own kind, when they love themselves more than they love their Creator. And you can't love your Creator and reject his man for you. You can't do it. It's a contradiction. He says to warn them that and tell them if they don't listen, a time will come where the heathens will divide them and they will have no men to protect them. And then the heathen will come in and the heathen will consume them. And that's in every way you can think of. Take advantage of you, sisters. And he had said that in the book of Isaiah, switched over to sisters, and said, a time will come, it will be so bad in order to have protection that there'll be 7 of you going to a man and saying, one of your men saying, help me, help me, help me. I'm under siege, I'm under attack. Isaiah 4:1 talks about it. And that's why your brother is talking about it. See, I'm telling you that Yah said this is their agenda. Their agenda is to tear us down by using every kind of lie and using slated statistics in the social media platforms to imply that somehow Yah's first man, your man, is not worthy of you. That's craziness. Because to deny his man means is to deny Yah. And brothers, to deny our daughters is also to deny Yah. He forewarned us, you find someone of your kind. That's Tobit 4:12. Deuteronomy 7:3. Jubilees 30:11. We're warned. We are warned. But these are the last days. These are evil, wicked times. And these liars, they're sent out by mass media. I don't give a damn what the hell they say. These are agenda seekers who are trying to tear our families down, sisters, so that you're alone and that you're vulnerable. And they try to encourage you. I know all of you don't do it, but they try to encourage you to say hateful things about your brothers. To what? To make your brothers despise you. To make your brothers turn their backs on you. Make your brother say, well, she don't give a damn about me. Why should I give a damn about her? They're using you, sister, to provoke your brothers to anger. And for you men of Zion, I'm going to tell you something, brothers. Don't y'all take the bait. Talk. Open your mouth. When you see these situations coming about and you hear this stuff going on, brothers, let's not just go and attack and start calling out women all kind of vicious and ugly, dirty names. Although some of them are a bunch of hoes and tramps. Let's not get that twisted. But for the daughters of Zion who are just concerned, who are expressing their concerns, we cannot attack them. We have to sit down and inform them, engage them. Let them engage us and let us engage them. And sisters, what I'm talking about is healthy dialogue, constructive dialogue. And let's talk about it. Let's look behind the veil. Let's look behind the curtain. Let's look for the hidden hand. Yeah, the book is true, and everything that's prophesied to happen, it is going to happen. But that doesn't mean it has to happen to you, daughter. My brothers, that doesn't mean that you have to be a part of that agenda. Our sons. So I just wanted to bring that out. You know, that brick. That brick meant much more than many of our brothers and sisters think it meant. We just thought it was a crime being committed. Yeah, but it's also skullduggery, deception, wickedness being promoted, lies, to create a certain level of division or divisiveness amongst Israel. in particular here in America's Judah, by using heathen Somalians who don't even identify with us, taking their issue, their men and their culture, I'm sure slamming heads with bricks and chopping off heads and everything else over in Somalia, please. And they bring that wicked culture right to America when they come here. They don't give a damn about nobody. They don't give a damn about their women. They don't give a damn about shit. Look at Africa as a whole, talking foolishness about us. And that foolishness, unfortunately, is circulating as truth. They're lying. And what I'm saying to my brothers and sisters, don't believe the lies. We do have a family infrastructure. So if we're going to focus on the 50% of the women without men, then we ought to be fair and say, what about the 50% of the men that are home with their women? Are we not going to give them any type of respect? Because if we disrespect the 50% who are home, then what did that tell the 50% who aren't? Don't go home. It doesn't matter anyway. We are a people of Elohim, Yahuwah, Allah. And we are not to learn the ways of the heathens, Jeremiah chapter 10. We ought to follow Yah and Yah's Torah, Yah's truth. And the elders among us, men and women, it's time to start this conversation about togetherness and unity, solving our problems in-house, not in these damn streets. And if it has to start with me, then here I am, Yah, I'll go. I hope you'll follow. Brother DFG, shalom.